All right. So a lot of people, business owners, copywriters struggle to isolate messaging, positioning, how to sell your product or service because we're focusing our energies on the wrong things, asking the wrong questions. The number one most important aspect to sell any product or service and figure out how to sell it in just 30 seconds comes down to one thing: mechanism. How does it work for me? From the mechanism, we're able to isolate our big idea, position our messaging in broad markets, smaller niches within that broader market, and scale individually in each niche, each audience, if you can position your product or your service in multiple ways in front of multiple people. So it all comes down to mechanism. Once you understand the mechanism, you can write a 15-second commercial, you could write a 2-hour webinar. It doesn't matter. So the disclaimer here, this is the fourth wall for where most of your creative ideas are going to come from. So if you haven't been applying mechanism, or if you've only been somewhat applying mechanism, in other words, how it works for me, how it works for the people that you're offering a product or service to, if you're not doing that, you're just leaving more money on the table than you're possibly making yourself or making your clients or partners. Again, this is where all of your big ideas are going to come from. So really pay close attention to this. So what do you do when a client puts a product or a service, just, sell this? What do you do? How do you sell it? How do you figure out how to sell it easily? Taking something that could be simple or something incredibly complicated, but making it simple so that it's relatable, so that people connect with it and they raise their hands and they go, yeah, that's me. I need that. That's what I'm going through. That's the story I'm telling. And really that's what it comes down to, storytelling, but we'll get into that. So right here, how do you sell water as a gut repairing supplement? Right now I'm working with this company, My Doctor Suggests, and their featured product is this silver water. It's alkaline structured silver water. Now, what it does, the feature, is pretty cool. It can break down the bad bacteria and candida in our guts. Benefits, what it does for me, well, if you're experiencing any gut-related symptom, you can expect the potential of squelching those symptoms, combating those symptoms, eliminating those symptoms. So you can tell a new story, mechanism, why it works for me. So how does it do that? How is this possible? Help me suspend my disbelief so that I can see this actually works and how it works and why it works for me, right? That's really the most important thing that you can convey, no matter what it is you're offering, no matter what it is you're selling. So what does it do? The first mechanism of the structured alkaline water is the alkaline water itself, which is proven scientifically, clinically, to eat away, dissolve the biofilm that surrounds bad bacteria and candida cells. This biofilm is extremely intelligent and is the true cause, new cause, which is going to be my next webinar. We're going to really dive into new cause and what that means, but the new cause is biofilm. You haven't gotten rid of your gut-related symptoms, and we're going to talk about positioning in a minute, because of this biofilm. It's antibiotic resistant to Cipro, penicillin, tetracycline, major antibiotics. And in the next 20 years, 10 to 20 years, we are, people, civilization, are going to become more and more and more antibiotic resistant and could drop dead from the common cold because of it. So new cause, biofilm, this is something that I talked about 3, 4, 5 years ago, and I knew it was going to be a big front end hit, and I've been trying to get there ever since. And this is by far the most effective product to talk about and address biofilm. Nothing on the market like it. Again, new cause. So how does it all come together? We have the second mechanism, which is silver. Now the silver, once the structured water, alkaline water, eliminates the biofilm surrounding bad bacteria, candida cells, which were made more of those types of cells than human cells. Invasion of the body snatchers, anybody? The cell themselves, the candida, the bad bacteria, they're exposed. So the silver, now that the biofilm has been eliminated, can vibrate up against these cells and rupture them, make them into like a puddle, and then you eliminate them. Drink lots of water when you take this type of product because you want to get those toxins out of your body as quickly as possible. As somebody who's taken this supplement, I can testify I experienced die-off, thrush. I felt like I had a sore throat because I candida overgrowth to the max. And this product really works. Again, I've been in this business since I was born. My grandfather met in time release. We had the supplement company, NutriHomo, Nutritional Homo Sapien. And it was the first product line to have cold processing and time release. And he was pioneering in the chelation of supplementation minerals. So the second mechanism, so it's a two-pronged mechanism. The first, the structured alkaline water, which eats the biofilm, eliminates the biofilm surrounding the bad bacteria and candida cells, and then the silver ruptures them, and then we eliminate them. So it's a very easy mechanism, double-pronged mechanism. And from that mechanism, I can position it anywhere, right? And by the way, the perfect storm is when you have a face and voice like Dr. Gordon Pedersen. Now, he actually invented this supplement. He has PhDs in immunology, anti-aging. I mean, the man is the real deal, and he can communicate this stuff inside and out, which makes him a great partner for me as a copywriter and as an entrepreneur. So we went with chronic recurrent yeast infections. The reason now yeast infections are another symptom of gut dysbiosis, where you have more bad bacteria and candida than you have good bacteria or good guys. And so we want to eliminate the true cause of these symptoms. One of them includes chronic recurring yeast infections in women and men. And actually, as you can see, it's 70% of women who experience a yeast infection get it from their male partner, which is great for our checkout page. There's a little checkbox that allows women to also purchase for their male partner, so they don't keep spreading it back and forth. So it's, we have two campaigns that are scaling here, but we also, this is just one way to position this particular product. We can also go after autoimmune disease, depression, weight loss, bloating, all those types of stuff. I mean, everything begins in the gut. So when you can scientifically prove that you can eliminate the cause of even leaky gut, hyperpermeability, which can be accounted for so many different symptoms in the body, including autoimmune responses. So, we're killing it in this position. Again, mechanism. I understand the mechanism inside and out, and I can immediately apply it to this. So people are always telling stories. That's all we do. We communicate in stories. So we need to connect with people with their story, in their story. So the positioning, the women and some men are telling stories about chronic recurrent yeast infections. So how can we position this mechanism to make them raise their hands? Where's that low hanging fruit, right? Where's the emotion? And how can you help? How can you help? Because if you can immediately convey like a what if question, what if it's possible to never have a chronic yeast infection again? Would you want the solution? And then be able to substantiate it and have testimonials that prove it and science that backs it up and makes it compliant on Facebook, which we're going to get into. But it all starts with the question, how can I help you? The more people you help, the more money you make. Now, the story that we're telling is important. I don't have emotion about a problem I'm not telling a story about. I don't have an autoimmune disease. I have lupus. And if I don't have lupus, you're not going to get my attention about lupus. But because I have symptoms of lupus, you can get my attention, and I'm telling a story about it. Now, if you can connect with that story, not just the symptoms and conditions, that's where the magic comes from. That's where the miracles and converting come from, compliantly. So what's going to make people fall in love with your campaign? What messaging is going to get their attention so they empathize and feel like you're empathizing with them? That they can see themselves in your copy, in your messaging, in your positioning, in your mechanism. If they know how it works for me, they can so much more easily see themselves in the copy, in the messaging. So you want to make your brand synonymous with the problem that you solve or satisfy. I use this example a lot. Cola. When you think of cola, a lot of people will think of Coke or Diet Coke. They're pop culture icons because so many people associate their satisfaction with cola thirst with Coca-Cola. So you want to create that same association. Now, I want this silver product to be associated anytime somebody thinks about their yeast infection symptoms, their gut problems, because I can position this, and we are in like colds and flus and autoimmune, type 2 diabetes, which is actually an autoimmune problem more than it is diabetes. It's not actually diabetes. That's a whole different conversation. The mechanism for why it works is so critical because it really does create that association. If people understand why it works, then they can, again, more easily see themselves in it and then associate your solution as the solution for whatever it is that they're experiencing. So if it's like chronic yeast infections and they're experiencing those chronic yeast infection symptoms, I want them to think about My Doctor Suggests and Structured Alkaline Silver. In this case, have a yeast infection, combat it at the core with structured alkaline silver, and then eliminate the candida overcoat that's making your life miserable. Why do copywriters and business owners make stuff up? Why do entrepreneurs sometimes feel the need to even ask copywriters to make stuff up? Well, a lot of times it's because they don't understand the mechanism. In fact, most of the time it's because they don't understand the mechanism. And that's key, because if you can't communicate the mechanism, you can't really communicate what the product does and how it does it, which is just relying on features and benefits, which is, that much emotion mechanism allows you to hit that much more emotion, right? So much more range. The product or service isn't truly a massive value. It doesn't really work. The Structured Alkaline Silver product works. 94% of people who buy or rebuy go on continuity, less than 0.5% return. That means it works. And they tell stories. They submit these stories and say, hey, this is amazing. This has changed my life. That's when you know you have a solution that works, again, whether it's a product or service. You're not having the testimonials, you don't have the proof elements, and so you make your claims, that much more fantastic, out of this world. Oh my gosh, because you feel like you need to, because you don't have the other social proof or the you don't understand the mechanism and the science that allows for what you're talking about to be possible. Therefore, you go out of the realm of possibility and really just make it seem more unbelievable than helping people suspend their disbelief so that they want to buy it. And that just comes down to research, asking the right questions and knowing how to isolate the mechanism. So learn how to do that. Why does compliance matter so much? So mechanism is also great for compliance because when you can scientifically substantiate and prove how something works and why it works for me, and it's backed by science, it's backed by empirical proof, and then you make your claims in alignment, in resonance, without going over the top with it. It just allows you to say real things authentically and to touch upon the real emotion. You can, in a compliant setting, you still have the opportunity to hit the emotion. You just know how to do it. And mechanism is so key to putting stuff, even a Facebook ad out there that is congruent with the whole funnel. Do you actually want to make brands a symbol for what they solve, or just a fashion and paying gimmick? Well, A lot of business owners are churn and burn. A lot of copywriters are churn and burn, you know, run a campaign until it exhausts and move on to the next thing. Well, I want to build $100 million company that I am earning residuals, royalties from for the rest of my life. So I'm doing the hard work now in order to achieve that. I'm building that brand that's going to be associated as solving every gut related problem that I can put out there. And genuinely wanting to help people. You know, the person that's behind this company genuinely wants to help people. I've never seen somebody give away so much free product because people can't afford it, and he knows that it will help them, and he's unwilling to not help them. That's an amazing thing. And if you can put that authenticity into your copy, you know, you're just head and shoulders above everybody else, but you can't and won't do that without being compliant. So if you don't understand your mechanism, you're way less compliant than you should be, and you're costing yourself or other people money, if not just sinking a potentially multi-million-dollar brand into the bottom of the sea of sameness, which is just not okay. So just a quick overview, just a few more mechanisms maybe to make it easier to isolate. Vitamin B3, that's niacinamide riboside, non-flush niacin. I wrote copy for a company going against Niagen, actually never got launched. Long story, got paid a lot of money for nothing to actually happen. So NR is a known precursor to NAD+, which is an essential part of the energy metabolism in our mitochondria. And we have thousands of mitochondria in our trillions of human red blood cells. So when those energy factories break down and those cells don't take themselves out of circulation, which is known as apoptosis, they become senescent. In other words, they duplicate, they replicate, and we age faster. So we have to repair those mitochondrial factories and help healthy cells duplicate, and help the unhealthy cells go through apoptosis, take themselves out of circulation. Without, and this is a critical precursor just as much as, if, you know, on the same level of magnesium. Magnesium's that spark that starts the energy metabolism, but ATP is the energy. And if we don't have energy, we rapidly age, we inflame, we develop dysfunction. We're far away from homeostasis. So replenishing NAD by its precursor, NR, niacinamide riboside B3, it gives us that stream of natural energy. So there's your mechanism. You can do it anti-aging. You can do it, I mean, there's just so many ways to position this message. It's great for the fitness freaks. It's great for people who want to just stay youthful. It's great for immune, so many things. Here's a product, Pure by Organifi. I wrote copy for them, and they didn't actually, their hero ingredient, which is lion's mane, is a two-pronged mechanism, but they didn't actually have their science figured out as they're blasting it on Facebook. So it turned out after their copywriters failed to research the mechanism properly, I took over and I figured out that lion's mane helps regrow new nerve growth in the gut, in the gastrointestinal tract. In doing so, it stimulates the vagus nerve, which has an anti-inflammatory effect on it. And that's what their claim was. They just didn't know how it actually happened because it was a two-pronged mechanism. And so in doing so, it allows the second brain, the gut brain, where leptin and serotonin and dopamine and GABA, all those things are produced that communicate to the first brain through the vagus nerve. So it allows for clear communication. So like, for instance, leptin takes about 12 to 20 minutes for it to communicate from the second to first brain. Well, you want that quick communication so that you can get fuller faster, eat less, be way less bloated, less gassy, not put on pounds or even lose weight, right? Simple. So the next webinar, we're gonna go more into the new cause biofilm, new cause. And it's a great way to position, to understand how to use your mechanism and have that big idea, the hook. So new cause, we are in the new cause digital marketing era. So next webinar, we're going to go into that. And if you guys have any questions about this one, or questions about webinars that you, or suggestions for webinars you'd love to see, share them with me here. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys later.